Well, bonjour, Elfrieder Sangazoon-tite, I guess, on this episode of Carnival of Randomness.
Parliamo!
And what can I say else about that? There's
Let's talk.
Greg over there who's like not paying attention.
I'm here. Hi. Parliamo!
Anyway, I'm very glad to have Ken back.
Hello, Ken Colombo
and
here.
Ken, who did you bring? Are your silent partner with you?
We have a very, very special guest today, silent partner. Direct from Rome, Italy. We have Margherita Rizzuti is here. She will be attending school at Aquinas Institute.
But you won't hear her because she's not talking.
But she's going to say buongiorno right now.
Buongiorno.
There it was. Now she's going back to Italy.
Okay, see you next week, everybody. That was fun. Did you know, the one thing I found out, you know what the modern Italian flag, where it came from?
No.
I found this out, you know.
The red, white, and the green?
Yeah, you know where it came from? You
Irish.
No, Napoleon.
They spilled pasta on something. I don't know.
It was Napoleon. When they went through Italy, he came up with the flag. Now, the blue, black, and rouge, he changed it to the green, white, and red. And now the popular lore is that it's green because green was his favorite color for the tricorn.
Well, who knew?
Did you know that?
I love those historical notes you just find when you're reading, and you find these interesting little tidbits.
And coming out of the pandemic with all the time we've had to go down those rabbit holes, yes.
And it's also those other things where there's so many things in life where you don't even think about some things like that, like little things like that, and all of a sudden it's like...
I don't even think about much of anything most of the time.
Greg, when was the last time you thought about the flag being a different color like that than...
Probably never.
Probably never.
But it is interesting to know. Now I'll make it a point of conversation every time I'm drunk.
And I'm happy to say that we have one of those flags, the Italian flag, is flying in our yard because we have a very special guest from Rome, Italy. Margherita Rizzuti is here.
Say hello, Margherita.
Hi.
But one of you could possibly say, why did you pick Rochester?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Because he paid for the ticket.
I did not think that. Mama and Papa, no?
Yeah.
See.
Because I had 5 choices and Rochester was the best one.
Oh my God!
What were
There's a lot of Italian heritage here. I mean, it would make sense.
What were the other choices? Troy, New York?
It was like Hell, Michigan or something.
If you went to Buffalo, you have to speak
Petaluma,
Polish.
California. Petaluma in California.
Really?
In California.
Pentaluma, am I saying that right?
Pennsylvania, I don't know.
Pennsylvania.
Why is it? Because the plane flight was a lot farther there.
Do you remember the other cities?
Yeah. Eugene in Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon.
Vancouver in Washington.
Vancouver? That's beautiful.
No.
Washington, though. You meant in Washington.
Very
not...
wet.
The school wasn't good.
Bad school.
And then...
Mala scuola.
And then Rochester.
And Rochester. And you picked Rochester because we're terrific.
Yeah.
We have quite the Italian heritage here. So
well, we got
sense.
we have the population. We have the immigration that happened many years ago, where we're now settled in. How many generations? Many.
Yeah, very
many
true.
Generations now.
The blue gardenia, I remember.
And come on, we're not going to go down that road.
No, we're not going to go down. That's a different kind of thing we won't talk about. But one of you could talk about like how the music scene is in Rome. Probably Ken, I guess.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Ken will do it.
I don't.
So I have a question.
Shoot.
Is it true? Because a friend of mine went there. Do you know Jim Villa?
Krypton 88.
Oh, yes.
Him and his wife went to Rome a few months ago, and they were only there a couple days, and they got pickpocketed and got everything taken. It's true, right? There's a lot of pickpockets in Rome.
What's pickpockets?
When they steal your stuff.
Remember we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, like
now,
on the subway or the train or whatever.
But that's a popular lore in every city. When I was in Moscow, but I heard when I went to London, my friends there were saying, "Oh, we're proud of our pickpockets. It's like part of the culture."
I mean, hey, it's a living. I mean, it's better than standing on an exit ramp, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
No, but it's true.
No, yeah, I have heard that many times before. We discussed it earlier, Margarita and I.
So you can talk about it.
A little bit, yeah. I can talk from what you said. That it's not as rampant as what it's made out to be here in the United States, but it does exist, and you have to be careful when you. What'd you say when you're in big
Metro.
crowds?
The train in the metro, yeah.
The metro areas where everybody's pushed together.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's. But everything. These guys are good. I mean, they took everything, purse. I mean, wallet, everything, money. I mean, I don't know. Somehow they got everything.
It's funny.
They lost their passport. I mean, all that stuff.
Oh,
they had to go to the consulate. Anyway, that's another
that's
story.
They
terrible.
couldn't
You have
take
to
my
be attentive.
sanity. It's been gone a long time by this point.
Yeah.
But I think also, too, consider, like, if you're traveling, you probably want to get out of there, get home, so they figure you're not going to really pursue it that much.
True. That's true. Well, luckily, I guess they had a friend. Somebody helped them out, and they were able to stay someplace and get organized. But, yeah, I mean, that's just like, I mean, what a vacation to have.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That is. That's terrible.
We had one friend, like, when I went to Moscow, they shipped her luggage to Chicago. So that was another thing.
Oh, man.
That was another
Well, then
thing.
you go on a shopping spree and buy all new stuff.
That's for
Not
sure.
in Moscow the way it was when we were there. Like, we're fighting the roaches off.
Can I
at
get a
the
pair of
best
jeans?
hotels
Sure.
and stuff.
$80.
Gum was another one, like chewing gum, jeans.
Popular
Yeah.
to get.
They said to
want-
bring, like, you could trade if you brought, like, juicy fruit or something. Because this was the Soviet Union and just,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, rest in peace, Mikhail
Where are
Gorbachev.
we now? Italy or
We were in Moscow, but
We're
let's
in
go back to
Moscow.
Italy now.
Yeah.
So, what is, like, the music scene like there? Like, one of you.
I got a question though, and this is serious. Do the kids listen to rap? Is the rap the same in Italy as it is here?
No,
How is it different?
I don't know.
We-
It's like people that talk on music.
All right. Well,
It's not rap, it's trap.
trap.
Yeah.
What is trap?
I really don't know.
Well, that was Margarita, folks. a cornucopia of musical knowledge.
So, Ken, what is your, like, in terms of Italian music, what have you listened to over the years? Like, in terms of classical, in terms of...
You know what? I can remember vividly. As a kid, my mom had a stack of the 78s, and there was Pavarotti, and there were, no, not even Pavarotti. Who was the one before him?
Caruso?
Caruso.
Yeah, the big tenors and all like that. And then she had a lot of Italian novelty records, too. Johnny Puella with the harmonicas. I don't know if you
I
remember.
think it's a bigger pop scene than it is a
There
rap
was a
scene.
this we're talking now 50 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is some rap. I've never
70
heard any,
years
but,
ago.
you know, I don't know.
But we did grow up with, and because of my grandparents too, we'd go over after Mass on a Sunday morning, and my grandmother would be making the sauce, and it's true, she would be cooking and making the sauce.
Making
and
the
they would
sauce.
and they would have the radio on, and it would be all the they had Italian stations, I'm sure, back then, because the immigrant population was so high.
Honey,
There
can you
was an
clean the
audience.
carpets? I've been making the sauce!
I don't know why there's a 12
You'd
big...
never ask your husband back then to clean the carpets. That was just not going to happen. There
What was the irony? So
the irony, yeah, it's kind of come full circle.
But they should do, like, the 12 days of Christmas. They should do the Seven Fishes Feast, like, as a Christmas song.
That
Feast of the Seven Fishes.
I remember that.
Because my dentist, Dr. Vicaretti, he always talked about it because, like, the seaside communities, you do the Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, because a friend mentioned to me, I just said, oh, by the way, you live by the sea. Do you do that? And he's like, you know something.
Yeah,
And I'll let me
absolutely.
stick the thing in your mouth so you control.
Do you do that at Christmas time with the feast and you before midnight on Christmas Eve, before it's Christmas Day, where you do the bacala, and all the different the shrimp and all the different fish?
It depends. No, we don't do it.
But you know what we're talking about, the feast
You're
of the
listening to
seven.
Marguerite from Rome.
The feast of the seven fishes. You know this?
No.
Because you couldn't eat meat, right, during the Christmas holiday, and up to and including Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve you couldn't, but everybody waited until midnight, and then when it was midnight, oh my God, then you could eat the meat.
Right.
But until then, you had shrimp, and you had babalucci, snails, and you would have calamari, and you would have, what were some of the, cod, bacala, right? Salted cod.
Octopus at all?
Oh, yeah. And they would put these
Salted
all in.
hooker? No.
And then we put it all went in the sauce, and it all got prepared, and it was wonderful.
It's showing about how Rochester is, though. When I mentioned Rome, everybody just responds, "Oh, Rome, New York."
Yeah,
Right.
we're definitely not that cultured here, right?
And I go, well, yeah, if you stop by Hamlin, there's a college, there's Hamilton College, and I think there's a town that has a pizza parlor and a laundromat. So
Hey, what are you seeing new locally here? What kind of things are sticking out in your mind and perking up your ears?
well, Greg, what have you done? Seen anything doing? What are you doing?
Well, I'm shocked. Well, I shouldn't be, I guess. I was at a Big Lots or whatever. I mean, the Halloween stuff's out, which I guess I get, but the Christmas stuff's already out. The lights and stuff. And it's like, really? Christmas? Now?
And that has to do with...
You wanted me to steer the topic, so I'm steering the topic.
And how does that fit in with what's new on the local music scene here?
Oh, I didn't hear you say music. I just thought you said scene.
Okay. Oh. No, who have you seen?
Christmas music is being played everywhere. There. Good save, huh?
Who have you seen that's new and interesting and seems to be hitting their stride locally lately?
Well, just last night, I saw Don Mancuso's band, Lips Turn Blue, with Roy Stein playing drums, who's a good acquaintance of mine. And
been around for a few years, only a few years.
We were talking a little before the show, and it was funny, because I guess he's playing with, oh God, I can't think of it. That's like the top 40 type band. Me and the Boys. He's playing with Me and the Boys now.
What, is he officially subbing, or is he officially
I think he's in, yeah. But he was telling me about how he thought that music was going to be fairly simple to learn, and he was shocked to realize how intricate all this pop stuff is.
If you're going to do it right.
Yeah. Bruno Mars and all these things with all the stops and all the different rhythms and the syncopations. And then a couple of weeks ago, last week, I guess, I saw our illustrious engineer / producer, Andy, play with
Fairport,
the Chicago,
yeah.
Fairport Transit there. And that was really good. I mean, those songs, that's a lot of stuff to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I give those guys a lot of credit. And of course, Bob Viavatni was playing trumpet, and I went to high school or Nazareth with him.
Right. Now that's their second year that they've done that show.
Is it?
I think. Am I correct?
I don't know. I've never seen it before. So.
I
want to say
maybe coming back.
Maybe a couple, three at the most.
And you have to remember Chicago. You think like at the end of their run with Cetera was all that really, really, really pop stuff. The early stuff's really cool.
And David Foster ruined those guys. Personal opinion.
You know, all the early things are really cool. There's a lot of stuff. I actually have their Christmas album too because of my weird collections of odd.
The only thing I'm upset about is I wanted to see this band Dirty Honey, and they're playing at Del Lago. They're like a modern Aerosmith type rock.
Oh, jeez.
And I have to play someplace, but they are really, really good. I bought their disc, and it's really just good riff rock. You know, good old fashioned riff rock.
How about you? Have you really gotten into, Rob, new and different?
I would say,
anywhere?
Okay, let's take
locally or otherwise.
I found like a lot of my music takes not locally. I'm showing my crotchety old age because it's all old stuff. Mm-hmm. But like it's like there's one like in terms of like people not from around here. I found a country singer, H.C. McIntyre, I like a lot. And Skylar Guttas, who I found because she was in a Big Star cover band, and she does her own music, and she's like a singer-songwriter. But she does a really good version of 13.
You know, it's funny that you mention that because during the pandemic, I've taken to watching a couple specific YouTube channels, and one of them is about aviation. The guy that runs it, his name is Steve, and I think his last name is like Steve Kniev, or Knievo or something. He goes by the name of Steve-01 Knievo, and all of his musical trailers that he puts on his videos are outstanding. He's come up with stuff of covers of artists that I've never heard before, that I'm actually listening to new artists doing covers that are just so excellent. One guy's doing Iggy Pop's Passenger, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost done in an Americana way. and it's so
See, that's
great.
my view on covers. It's like, unless you're doing a tribute band or a cover band, why don't you take a good song and try to make it different and do something with it? The Super Suckers cover is a country version of Sail On by the Commodores. But it's great.
Yeah. Well, you know who our local master is at doing that. I don't know how he does it. Scott Regan, on his show daily, will go out and find all these different covers that we've grown up with, the Beatles, the Stones, whomever, by all these new different artists. It's just outstanding.
I started for COVID, I started doing a theme like videos on Facebook and stuff where I would just...
Go ahead. No.
Whatever. He's finding a fly up here. So
Well, one thing I have noticed, though, in the last, I don't know how long, maybe last few years, doing covers it does not have the stigma that it used to. It used to be like, oh, you can't play your own stuff. Well, now it's become so fashionable to rework songs. Everybody is doing it. I mean, I've heard some really great versions by some of these people you wouldn't think of twisting a song around, and they do great versions of them. They're however they imagine them, and they're really cool because it gives you a different spin on it, and then it reinforces that whole thing that a good song is a good song,
right?
And a well-written song.
And I think
is just
also
a
Kim
well-written
Draham said it perfectly. Where one time, like with his band Static Cling, where he did White Rabbit and all these different. He said, "Look, I can maybe write 3 good songs a year, but music's for everybody, and there's so many good songs out there." And isn't it cool? Like, think about like Watchtower with Hendrix, where I think Dylan even said that's the way to do it.
Yeah, rock it up.
But I'll tell you one album this year I really, really liked. This is out the Brian Wilson just doing his songs on piano.
Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys.
Yes, he does all. He's a bunch of his songs just playing keyboard. That's all. Piano standards. It's incredible.
That's cool.
I gotta check that out.
But locally now, we'll go back a little. Take the pandemic thing coming through, and really, I've just been following, like, first person I'd seen, I used to see her all the time, but saw her, like, once finally she was back. Here's Michaela, who is all over the place and lives in Hudson now.
Did she move?
She lives in Hudson Valley.
Oh.
She's touring all the time, but the funny story was, I said, like, I used to always go to her show. It's at the Hollow, right? There's the Haunts Hollow, right? In Albany. The Haunts was in Ithaca, one of the two. The Hollow. I get down to Pearl Street, and my car breaks down right on Pearl Street when I was going to go see her. But, yeah, she lives in Hudson now, and she tours all the time, so I don't, before I'd see her, like, how many times. But I've been following, like, a lot of the new people I know, like Julia Weatherholtz, who's getting more and more, finding her voice and getting more into, like, the jazz she really likes. And Adriana, who's just continuing on, very busy, but she also plays with Public Water Supply now, and she's been doing a lot. But otherwise, sometimes like I'll see something at the Little or whatever else, and I'll go check it out. But I can't really say many more. I know Maybird hasn't played much.
Yeah.
And I think they're playing once this year. I know Sam's playing a lot more solo.
Did you see the ad that he put on there with Sound Source this
Yeah.
morning? Oh, my God, it was hysterical. What a great job. It was so clever that they would do it with the background music from Ennio Morricone, from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh,
It was just a great
Going back to Italian stuff. You said it. How could you, either of you, comment on the local music scene in Rome?
I can't. I don't. If she doesn't want to comment on it, whatever's going on, I don't know. I assume the kids listen to the radio. How do they listen?
No, we listen Spotify music.
Spotify. Oh, you know what? When Margarita got here, yeah, sure, I can say that. When Margarita got here, I showed her an app that I have that's called
the radio.
The Radio Garden. Radio Garden is a worldwide app that just by loading it on your phone, it shows you the globe with green dots, and every green dot is a radio station. That by zooming in on it, we could zoom in on Rome right now and be playing Rome. It's just that easy to listen in on a station. So I suppose what we'll do for next time is you... There you go.
Like news.
He's given us the news. There
Yeah,
you have it.
so-
We have the news from
We
Italy.
have the news from the south of Italy, from Sicily.
Well,
Oh,
I got really into world music during lockdown myself too, and I know nothing about it that much, but I just got really into listening to all kinds of world music. You could find some on 88.5,
Yeah.
but I have a lot of discs of my own.
yeah.
And just getting the beats and the rhythms and awesome, and trying to like distinguish between, okay, where's this influence come from? Where's this come from?
I was going to ask you, have you seen or heard of anybody locally doing any experimental, electronic, avant-garde, anything like that? I haven't. Unless I'm missing it.
Lately,
I even
around
belong
here,
to, yeah.
The only ones I would say aren't from around here. They're the people like Tom has for his shows at the Bop Shop, but they're not from around here.
Right. Well, I'd be interested in seeing some of that.
I'm sure there are some eclectic people that are off the grid a little bit. I'm trying to think. There was a guy.
Well, I
he had
belong to a
thing
couple
called
groups.
Olive something, or I don't know. I can't think of his name.
I belong to a couple of groups on Facebook that supposedly, synthesis, this and that, and, different groups like that, experimental music. But it just seems that there's an interest, but nobody's really doing anything. There's no...
Right. Well, I know like Dave McGuire. You know David McGuire?
That is, it's the husband of...
husband.
Yeah, it's Kristen, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he writes some great stuff. I mean, he plays me some of his stuff every now and then. He's pretty avant-garde.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing out there, really. I think he just does it like for... He was doing music for like Park Avenue dance people for a while. But I don't know what he's doing now. But every now and then he'll play me something, and his stuff's always really cool.
How many bands are you sitting in and with now?
It's dwindled a little bit. 3, 4.
Time Bandit still...
No. I'm doing Brian Lindsay Band, Anonymous Willpower. I play with this band called Smokin' Roads, which is like a blues country, like a trio, like Delbert McClinton, and it's all cover stuff. And then this other cover band, In the Mix, which does like
Some more party stuff?
CMF playlist type thing.
All right.
Like Pink, Journey, Foreigner, REO, stuff like that. And we play, it's a good band because we got a great keyboard player, Jeff Hand, and Gary Cummings playing bass.
No, I know Gary.
So it's like it's a good bunch of people, and there's not a lot of drama, and it's a fun band.
Get in, play the gig, get out.
Yep, have a great time.
You got me on this
keep 'em
question
rocking,
though about
like-
avant-garde locally. I cannot really think of.
I
any
can't
new-
either. I would be happy. It's like maybe if somebody over at CCC there's a newish venue over by downtown that plays on Monday nights. I have friends of mine. It's primarily jazz, but some friends of mine go to that on Monday nights. I would think that they would have something like that.
St. Paul, where? Like down by Chester, or by Andrew Street, out down
somewhere
that
in
way.
and about where the Spirit Room is, somewhere down
Yeah.
that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Where the old Talavera used to be.
Okay. Yeah. Down that State Street area. there.
Yeah, the CCC, and then the kids from Eastman seem to have found a home there on Monday nights to go play and do their thing.
That's cool.
I know Aaron's found it. He's even shown up to to do some of the do the photography and whatnot.
No, but I can't think of any like that. But I could think
Take your
of.
time.
I could think of actually the Archive Ravens.
Be sure you get my running stuff.
We're also having like someone in the studio now.
We just had a guest.
Yes, but no, you mean But I'm thinking like, I actually was thinking something about like Captain Beefheart was one of the persons who did like to see cover bands. But I guess like how many people are going to play that kind of music? Because like I remember
Zero.
I remember like Zoot Rollo in his book, he said we're going to get together the Magic Band again, but we didn't want to have to learn this stuff again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
And I've said that about my theory on prog, where I said, okay, if you're doing like Americana or something, you don't have to be the best musician, but you have to connect with the audience, have feeling. Prog is like a challenge for a musician. You want to be a good musician, you want to do something, trying to do prog. You also have to bring up fairy tale characters.
Right.
But I think if you want to be challenged as a musician and really see how far you go, you do prog.
There's a great band out there called Porcupine Tree.
Oh, yeah.
They're really cool. I hear them every now and then on Jim Ladd's show on Sirius XM. Their stuff is really good.
Are they national, local?
Yeah.
No, they're
national.
national.
group?
But they're really good. It's like the old style, like Genesis sort of, right? Sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Progressive rock like
Yeah.
that. Marguerite, what kind of music did you listen to in the house growing up? What did your mother and father play?
My father and my mother doesn't listen to music, but if they have to, they listen like to 80s or 90s.
Okay, so who are the big? I don't even know because I was raising kids during the 80s and 90s.
Like
Who was big?
Kenny Rogers and stuff like that.
I don't know. Kenny Loggins and Messina, were they?
Footloose.
What, all those bands with like Journey and all those
Michael, what was his name?
things? I don't know, because only like there was actually one list of the top like 50 something albums of the 80s. The only one I owned was like a Tom Petty album.
Yeah, right. Getting back to what you're saying about different music and covers and whatnot. And I can remember one night we had a gig at Iron Smoke, and in the audience was Jack Garner and his wife Bonnie.
Oh, wow.
Right, and he wanted to come out to see. We were warming up the Majestics, and then they were on. So we were up there, and we had just learned the cover Goldfinger, which is a very unusual number
Surely
for a
Bassey,
rock
right?
band, right? Yeah, for a rock band to do. We did it instrumentally. We didn't have anybody, but we launched it a la the Tom Petty version. I guess Tom Petty did it in a live concert, and
Oh, really?
yeah, he did a whole series of different covers in a concert series. Excuse me, but at any rate,
I didn't know that.
we did this, and the look on Garner's face, I gotta tell you, the smile from ear to ear was priceless.
Did you ever hear King Crimson's version of Free as a Bird?
No,
It's on, I'll send it to you. I just actually, you missed my post of it. It's on Vroom Vroom.
John Lennon's Free
Yes,
as a Bird?
it's on Vroom Vroom. Now, the story goes, if you listen to it, they start laughing at, whatever happened to. They go, like this, because I guess Ballou knew about it. They didn't know the lyrics yet because it was just coming out, but he had already known.
So this is in the 90s when they were doing the anthology
It's
stuff.
on Vroom Vroom. It's on their live album.
Okay.
But it's just, because who would you, like, you're going to see King Crimson, out of all the covers, you would think that.
That would not have been one of them.
Right?
That would not have
But
been
now
one
this
of
is like a question, actually. People have talked to me about this. How would you three, she's out of this one, if she's lucky.
them. What's the question?
Could you imagine, when we're growing up, all the bands we like and everything, could you imagine one day we'd be sitting here looking like, say, at the Stones or the Who or McCartney playing when they're like almost 80?
You know what is your thought about that?
My view is two ways. I think I have a view in life that I suppose, you do what you like, helps you stay young. But you don't want to make a fool of yourself,
Right.
too. And I think you have to be a good self-critic. Like, I'll say, like, even on this show, we usually, we might be up here, we might be here enough. We ever do a real clinker, I won't even air it. And you have to be a good self-critic. I think, like Bob Seger, who, like, I'm not, like, the biggest fan. He's all right. But I guess he quit, like, after 2019. I guess, like, after 2019, because he just decided he couldn't do it anymore, like the whole rigors of touring.
Yeah.
And I've heard horror stories. Like, I never saw this one. How a friend of mine told me, like, how bad, like, B.B. King was at the end.
Yeah.
That she's shaking your head. And, like, some people, maybe they go because the name and they want to see the person, maybe pay the respects, but it's like a shell. And Link Ray, as I've probably told the story before, he had dementia when he was playing, and he played well, but he would play the same songs. And his wife had to lead him away by his belt.
No,
Oh my
jeez.
Well, I had a talk with Roy Stein last night before they went on, and we were talking the night before they opened up for Pat Travers
Yeah.
in Buffalo, and
It's big stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
it was like he said it had to be tough because he said it was only maybe 100 people there.
Did the lights go out?
Boom, boom. I don't know.
He opened for Rainbow. That's
Bada
why I
bing,
saw
bada boom. But I don't. The thing is, we got into this discussion about when do you become a joke, and
a parody of
yeah,
yourself.
and I because I made some joke. I said, I said, yeah, it's got to be hard, you know, after you've been doing it for so long and you got your... But I said, that's why you find guys in the bathtub with a needle in their arm. You know, I was joking around.
Right.
But you get self-deprecating or whatever. You know, you start to, like, see yourself... You doubt yourself and all this.
And also, too, Jeffrey, I don't want any because this is a positive show.
No, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, no, go
But
on.
he said to the fan base, he's not a joke. To the fan base, he's revered, and they show up. But they see that's the whole thing. He had a different take on it, which I thought was very refreshing. And you know, so it got me thinking about. There's just
It's
two different
interesting
views.
because I think, like, and I haven't seen the Stones to write. One of my views is, okay, they're like sort of a blues rock based band, so it's probably not that tough. Because you imagine, I would think like now I saw a clip of the Who, and I saw them in 2017. I thought they killed it; they were great. I saw a recent clip, and I just maybe they caught him on a bad song, but I was just shaking my head, going. But you think of like some person I really, really respect is Robert Plant.
Right.
Because I think a lot of ways, one of the little secrets about why he doesn't do Zeppelin is that he knows he can't hit the notes anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he seems like, I've heard like his show with Alison Krauss, like Danny was telling me, they said he just looks like he's having fun. Sure. And there's that Nick Lowe saying about, isn't it great when you look good in the clothes of your age?
Yeah. Well, you have to be representative of where you're at. Yeah. If you're trying to pretend you're 25 again, it isn't going to work. You know.
Well, that's true. I mean, we see now these veteran A-list players, the McCartneys and the Jaggers and the Keith Richards and all the rest of the folks from Pink Floyd and all those that are still out there playing. It's like, geez, you ask yourself, when's it time to? The voice is gone. This is gone.
But at least they still have the band. They're not trying to go out there with a bunch of pickup.
See, that's what I don't like. And I was talking to Ken before the show. It's like, okay, on this show, I think, unfortunately, we're like a little hipper than now music snobs at time, or I am. I've been called hipper than now, actually. Yeah. But if you go see what you like, okay? Now, if you're going to see what you like, why do you want to go see, like, one or two people, like two guys who joined the group with the third album with a bunch of... Right. Like Mike Love with his Fox beat,
Well, a great example would be, he's spending $400 or $500 on a ticket to go see the Monkees when it's just Mickey Dolenz.
Right.
I know. Spend like under $20, go support the zoo if you want to see the
I'm not saying
Monkees.
that there's a tour. I don't even know that there is. It's probably not. But
I'd rather see him be Circus Boy.
Oh, who remembers that? Now you're showing your age.
Good. No, but remember, like, I found a quote from Mick Jagger again, cover your ears, Margarita. I'm not going to be shaking my ass when I'm 40.
Yeah, well, he's 80 and he's still...
You don't want him to shake his ass now, trust me.
Yeah, right. He's 80 years. I guess he's probably...
He's 79.
Yeah.
They're both 79.
Or like McCartney does it well, though. I mean, he represents himself well. He can still sing pretty well. He's got a really killer band to do all the parts.
He has been with him now for a lot longer than what the Beatles
I will say now,
I'm sure he likes having a band.
Yeah.
I'm sure three of us here have seen Dylan before, more than once. Maybe
I have never seen Dylan.
Okay, the thing about Dylan, the thing about Bob Dylan is you get him. I've seen him when he's been really good, when he's been really horrible, basically. But the last time I saw him, he played at the Auditorium Theater. It was 2018. He was great. And I was thinking to myself, he's like, except for COVID having to shut him down, he's like 81 now. He's toured every year except like a year like in the mid-80s, like early 80s because he had some health problems. Mm-hmm. Now, my view on that, like Tony Levin, he's going to be playing here again next week.
Yeah,
and he's been on a few albums in his time.
Just a couple.
They're hard to find. I actually want to do a show one time about pick albums Tony hasn't actually been on.
Right.
And he's like one of my idols. I just think he carries himself well. He's for being such a talent, such a humble man.
You gonna have him on the show?
I would like to sometime.
Well, we'll talk.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
I know guys that know guys.
No, I've been thinking about that, but
it cost you $2.
And I really I told you the funny story about him. So the one show, a couple shows back, and he always means a lot to me. And I want to tell him because I actually saw him the night my dad passed away. It was his brother, and I went back, but it was like a break. And I was going to tell him that I actually told him, Tony, last time I saw him, I said, first time I saw you was like 40 years ago with Peter Gabriel, and here we all are, and neither of us have aged. But I had him sign his bass clef book.
Right,
And he saw it. He goes, "Oh, wow. I don't really see these that often." He goes to me, "Here, I'll sign it. Go sell it."
Yeah.
But I just really admire him. That's the kind of person I want to be, the way he's just so talented. But I was telling myself, he's touring. He's like 76. I don't think you mind us telling your age, Tony.
No.
You don't have to do this. I'm sure he's got money. You must enjoy yourself.
That's what he does. I had the rare privilege of meeting him at his home a couple of times over the during it was a Hall of Fame thing where he was donating some of his stuff to the Hall of Fame for a museum exhibit. So at any rate, we went down and had the conversations and so on, and just as straight a guy as you can imagine.
I admire him enough, but the one time it was like January, there's a church in Penfield. They had a benefit. Mm-hmm. The weather was horrible. Like, he lives out by Woodstock or somewhere, I take it. So
correct.
We don't want to give his address.
No,
it's or anything.
Well, it's Kingston, New York.
He drove in. He played. Great show. Talk about like avant-garde. He played that one really long song. This is terrible. He stays afterwards. He'll talk to anybody he wants to talk, sign.
Yeah.
Anybody. And I asked him about his barbershop quartet, and I got to tell him that. I asked him how Peter Gabriel was doing with the Monkees. He likes to tell that story.
I don't know. Never heard that.
You haven't heard him? He tells a lot.
No.
Tony says, Peter calls me. "Tony, you free? I got a small gig. Just a small little gig. You play?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I would, but I'm doing some things. If it's just a little gig, you could do it." So, don't think about it. I turn on the TV. Peter's performing at the Olympics in front of 4 billion people.
Hello. And he passed up on it.
Yeah, because he just, Peter Gabriel like that.
Oh, nice.
But he always tells the story about Peter Gabriel working with the Monkees in the studio in Atlanta.
You know who's also good at that stuff, though? Michael Franti?
I do.
You ever seen him? We've gone to see him a few times because my girlfriend's son likes him a lot. And his music is very uplifting.
He's another one.
But
now,
he's good at that stuff. He'll meet with you after. He'll take pictures. He'll do all that stuff.
I met Michael Franti on a jam cruise in 2009 in the middle of the Caribbean where everybody was partying their brains out.
Right.
We were on our way to Belize, and he is a really nice guy.
Yeah, and you gotta love a guy that plays barefoot.
inviting people up to come up and jam.
Yeah.
The musicians, because it's that free kind of.
Yeah, he's a people's music type guy.
But here's a guy like Keller Williams is another one. These two guys, they've been out there forever.
Right.
And there's probably not 10 people that really, really knows of them, unless I'm not aware of their kind of fan base.
If you like to play, you like to play, and you don't really.
And the other thing that would get us too is being of our generation and the concerts we've gone to. Like, Ken, the first concert you went to, how much did it cost?
Oh, jeez, it was. To be honest with you, it was probably free to me because my buddy's uncle worked at the War Memorial, and he got us in to see Jefferson Airplane.
So you missed paying that $2, huh?
Is that what it was?
They were like $3.
I know. When Led Zeppelin played here, Led Zeppelin on their third tour, tickets I think were $3 or $3.50.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of like the prices now?
I was going to say that. We've got these aging musicians out there, and people. Bruce Springsteen tickets.
Cash grab, man. It's bad.
I know Kevin Anderson a little bit. He's a science fiction writer, and he lives out by Red Rocks. And he said he wrote a post. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He wrote a post. He said that I love Jackson Browne, but I looked at the tickets he's playing. Lowest $398, highest over $1,600.
Who's doing? That's crazy.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, we charge that to be on this show because we're so popular.
That's right.
But who are you actually trying to get to see you?
Meet and greet with Greg, $400.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, like, okay, and I'm not going to say don't make. Honestly, do you need all that money?
Well, do they even know? Did Bruce Springsteen know?
Now, when I heard
Does
somebody...
Paul McCartney know?
Somebody wrote a post on the post saying, don't let them make excuses. They know what the prices are, and they make the prices. Now, I don't know enough to talk about that.
I don't either.
But like Bill, there was a snotty... I had to be snotty one time. I try not to be. Social media is insane. Mm-hmm. But somebody put a post up about Billy Joel, and it said... Okay, at Billy Joel's concerts, he always keeps the front row open.
I did see that, yeah.
Because he doesn't want to see. And I wrote like saying, "Well, Billy, why don't you just charge less so everyday people can sit in the front row?"
Right. I mean, I don't see a need for, unless somebody has totally lost their millions and fortunes and they need to charge $5, $6, $8.
And I don't know what Elton John's charging.
No clue.
But isn't it just surreal though, like that? A lot of when
I
you
think,
live through
I
all
think
these.
you have a lot of hands in the pie. So to speak. Ticketmaster and all those guys.
We're seeing photos today of Beatle tickets from '65 and '66 and whatever.
Right.
They're $5 and $6.
Yeah.
Then, right.
But there's one thing about the Beatles, and I say like if I was asked any band I could see in the '60s, I probably wouldn't have gone to see them because the show stunk because so many people were screaming and everything.
Right.
But what are your first impressions of Rochester? Putting you on the spot again. You.
For me.
Yeah. You're not for us. We've been here.
I don't know. I went to Rochester 3 days ago. The Rochester downtown.
You still want to stay?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing good.
And I want to stay more than 4 months. So.
You have not introduced us to the horrible thing everybody just... Lily Wynn would do a Zoom. Steve's daughter. She's super nice. What does one of my panelists say? When you're in town, she played at Abilene. What is the thing she has to do when she's in Rochester? You know it.
Garbage plate?
Yes.
Garbage plate.
Why?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You're my.
Why?
It's a food thing.
My first thing was I told my
food
friend, like, out of all the things in Rochester, you have to tell her that. We have like artisan works, we have music, we have museums,
Eastman Theater, right?
Eastman Theater.
Yeah.
Take her to Ron Cohen's.
Yeah. No, we did a walk around downtown a couple of days ago, and I brought Margarita.
But would that be a thing because you grew up in Italy? Like I actually thought, like Alyssa when she was in town, like or actually one of my friends from Texas was in town, played at Abilene. I'm thinking, okay, you eat this stuff all the time at home. Wouldn't you want to try something different?
No.
Right.
Okay, no.
I want to try American things.
She's been having American. Last night we went
Garbage
to
plate.
Dinosaur. Yeah, we went to Dinosaur Barbecue. Hey, are they ever going to have live music back again?
I doubt it.
I doubt it. I'll tell
I
you
don't
why
think
later.
so.
Right? What's going on?
I don't know. I just asked that the other day. I was at rehearsal. We were talking after
And I have one other
they
weird
haven't
question.
had bands in a while.
I have one other little weird question. It's on my mind because of Pat Thomas, who's a music critic who's been on, and he was going on about black vinyl. Mm-hmm. And we have all these different now. Any album I get, like the last albums I've gotten, they're all some kind of color or something interesting vinyl. Any thoughts? Do you really care?
I've got one.
Now, did you get it on just because you wanted it?
It was special to me on several different levels. It was David Bowie narrating Peter and the Wolf, Prokofiev.
Oh, excellent.
David Bowie narrating Prokofiev, Peter and the Wolf on RCA green vinyl. I bought it. I mean, come on.
Well, for me, I said my first record, I saved my paperboy money, went down to Gold Circle, and got the Beatles 67 to 70, the Blue Album.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, but this how cool is it even now to hear Bowie going through the narration of it. And then there was the duck, and quacking in the pond as the fox came going.
That would be, that's
it's
just
something. So cool. Just
not your William Shatner Christmas album, I'll tell you
it's
that.
not. It is totally
But
not.
Greg, any thoughts on that?
On what?
Do you care? Actually, do you really care? Like, if you were going to buy an album, I don't know if you buy albums. Say you were.
What was the last album you bought?
The Bitter Honey album.
Huh.
The CD.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
What was the last album you bought?
Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down?
Yesterday.
No, I bought. It's a local band that was with Paul Dodd, Peggy Fournier. What was the name of the? Oh my God! What was the name of that band? No, before Margaret Explosion. The Personal Effects.
Yes.
Personal Effects. I got copy vinyl Personal Effects. Precious. From back in the day.
I will do a shout out to my good friend Sean McVeigh. He's been on the King Buffalo. They're on the road again. Now, if you want, it's not avant-garde, but if you want like space rock, mix of everything, you should check them out. And their new album, Regenerator, I got that, but it has a white bone cover, like with, they do all like space motifs. But see, now I would have bought that if it was just plain. And I actually got the Stones at the El Macambo, which I think is great. And
I have the Stevie Ray album combo. That's really
and it's really good. And I love the best part of the album actually is I think the song with Billy Preston's the best song, Memory Motel. But the best thing is when Mick's introducing the band, he goes, "There's Charlie in the drums," and Charlie, he doesn't like this stuff. He just plays for the money. He's a jazz musician.
I got a quick question for the three of you. Greg, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
Your least favorite, and you don't have to go into any kind of big expert, something that you just really don't care to listen to. A band, it could be a singer, whatever. I just don't care for that. Anything coming to mind just straight up?
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
You know,
other than rap,
that's Greg's. That's our big thing.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, stuff that actually just like makes me want to shut it off or something.
Something that everybody else seems to just relish, and you kind of go,
I don't get it, right?
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm going to say for me, right, Janis Joplin.
Really? Oh wow!
There's nothing there for me that is intriguing.
I would almost say Jefferson Airplane.
I love her story. Her story is tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, from growing up.
Okay,
and so
I got
on.
one. And I don't want to. Now again.
Okay, who is it?
She's probably really nice.
Ooh.
I don't know her, but Susan Tedeschi.
Oh,
And I just
Trucks?
don't. And more her. And now I think it's just generic sort of. And I know she's probably a sweet person. A lot of people like it. I just don't get it.
Andy's gonna.
Mine is Wings. As
Wings.
much as I love Paul McCartney,
Yeah. I don't
I
get
hear
Wings.
Wings and it's just like
Wow,
it does
why did-
absolutely nothing for me.
Right. Why did you? There's a couple of good tunes in there.
We're listening to Andy Keller,
Just
our
generally.
engineer.
Okay,
This is now.
No, wait a
Ciao.
minute.
Ciao.
Come on back in. Come on.
This is
I
now.
can leave my place to you. I can leave my place to you.
You go take care of the controls
But you
and let him.
know, okay, I'll leave. We'll end like with this question.
But I
Sort of like
I share that with
that's sort of like the same. Is there any
The
artist?
songs are too sappy.
We got
Great.
our moderator talking.
Is there any?
here.
Okay, we'll end with
sorry.
this question. Is there? Oh, don't apologize on the show. Are there any artists that you
Okay, I'm not
you
sorry.
never got into, but as you got older, you got into? And I'll start. The person I didn't get into for a long time, but now I love and personally. Okay, separate the personal from the music.
Oh.
Van Morrison.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I guess.
Because at first,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the voice or something, but then all of a sudden I got into his Astro Wheels and Tupelo Honey, and I love it.
You know, now I'm kind of circling back. When I was younger, it was Black Sabbath.
You didn't.
I
get it?
didn't get it. It was loud to me. It was too doomy
Dark.
and this and that. But now I listen to them, brilliant. I think
I
it's
get
great.
that.
You know
I
my
get it,
theory
yeah.
on that though, because like I didn't really like some bands like that, and like some because when we were younger, I think our attention spans weren't as good, and we didn't really appreciate. You have to
Well, I
know.
don't
Okay,
know.
like I've always said, like if you're going to read Ulysses, don't read it till you're like 40. Read all the Odyssey and everything else. I think you have to grow and appreciate in terms of music and get to the point where you can appreciate all these different things, or like a song that might be like 20 minutes, where before you're like,
But you know what I love about those old albums, especially something like Black Sabbath and Van Halen and those things? The drums sounded like drums. Bill Ward's drum sound was
before
great.
all the electronics.
Yeah, and it was like they weren't overproduced, and it was just there, But I think I kind of agree with Andy with the Wings thing, only because as brilliant as he is, the songs are just too sappy and with a little luck and silly love songs. I mean, they're great and you can hum along to them, and they're obviously were hits, but they're just without the acerbic attitude of John Lennon. I don't think his writing holds up.
Yeah,
And you
it's a
appreciate-
point.
I mean, that's
There's a
what made
point.
the Beatles was because they had that black and
Competition.
white.
Right.
But I mean, I shouldn't say he's not a good writer. He's a great writer. But
plus also a lot of people don't. He's such a talented musician;
Yeah.
he can play anything.
True.
right.
But they
that's-
needed that. I
was their
think
ace in the hole.
sometimes John could be too stark, even though I love like Plastic Uno Band.
Right.
But where Paul could just be too sappy,
Yeah.
but stick them together.
Paul likes to tell stories. He likes to tell like little fairy tales.
Well, you could see the
You know.
people person in him.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the 3-part documentary, Get Back, where you could see the snarkiness coming out in Lennon all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, unrelenting. Always in McCartney trying to put it back together again and keep everybody on track. And you could tell he was
Right.
the great, the glue.
Right.
The glue, if you will, to keep things on track and moving forward. But
the perfect, like I've told the John Lennon story many times, is the story I heard from a person where he saw John Lennon in New York and he signed his album. He walks away, he didn't notice it. He signed it Paul McCartney. You have something to add?
While we're on the Beatles, I just heard the next album that Giles Martin is going to remix and is going to be
What's
revolving.
now?
Oh,
is
sweet.
he?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out this fall.
His remixes are great.
Yeah, because he doesn't really change the sound of it.
He just finds things that were buried, mainly. But, like, I listened to have you heard the Pepper, Sergeant Pepper?
Oh, yeah.
Benefit of Mr. Kite, when you hear the Calliope sequence, he finds all these other sounds that were in there that, wow, where did that come from?
Even for this stuff just to get cleaned
it's
up.
so
is
cool,
amazing.
yeah.
Paul played that live when I saw him this June.
Oh, yeah?
It's kind of cool.
Wow, the show's special.
Have you ever seen the Fab Four?
No.
Not live. But
The Fab Four is coming to the Egg in the first week in November. I've seen them 3 or 4 times there.
The Egg.
It's in Albany. It's
Albany.
Albany.
Oh, the Egg. I forget what the name of the real name of the building is. They call it
That
the
was
Egg.
Andy Calabrese.
But at any rate, these guys come in and they will do what the Beatles couldn't do. They'll recreate.
Oh,
the,
okay. That's cool.
they're very cool, but they're using all of today's
Right.
electronics.
That's what they said
Which
about
if they
touring. They'd
had
have to
it
get
all,
an
yeah.
orchestra. But actually, I picked one up. I couldn't help myself. Elton John's real first album, Regimental Sergeant Zippo,
Wow.
which is like a take on. It's like it's like when he's 20, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Was he still Reggie Dwight then, or was he?
Well, he just released it now, but I'll give it a 3 out of 5. But you can just tell he's trying to be of the era. It's psychedelic, it's harmless.
Yeah.
But this has been fun in its own weird way. I enjoyed having you
Talk about off the cuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Margarita, for being on.
Caccherona, tutta caccherona.
Say arrivederci now.
Arrivederci.
Hey, all right.
Oh. And where are you going to school, actually?
Aquinas.
You went to Aquinas, didn't
No,
you?
I went to one that's not around anymore, Mooney.
Mooney, okay.
I gotta say, I love her accent. It's great.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Italian.
My English accent.
No, your Italian accent.
By the time the semester's over, you can
English
come
is-
back, you can host the show in all Italian.
Hey, there
You'll have
you
the
go.
confidence.
There you
But
go.
and you're just hanging
Muy
around,
bueno.
doing what you're doing, taking pictures,
Yes.
having fun. You can. Just hanging around.
Oh, me.
just
Oh, I thought you were
bumming
talking about-
around like
me
Dean
too.
Martin.
Yeah, just taking things in.
Watching the wheels.
Sitting here watching the wheels go round and round.
I think we both had like our near-death experiences, so it makes you appreciate.
I
You're like
does.
two walking. We could have been like, instead of the Grateful Dead, we could do a 2-man duo, the Walking Dead, the Almost Dead.
I'm waiting for the Rolling Stones steel wheelchair tour. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, man.
So we have a big
So, come
treat today. Greg is going to unleash his musical talent. No, not live. He's got a tape.
Well, it's actually a song I wrote in the 80s with my friend Dave Costello. And we resurrected it for the Anonymous Willpower band, and it's called Pretty Words. So if Andy can
words.
grab it off the thing I sent him. Yeah, it's
Nice.
basically a song about somebody that's on the road, and you meet somebody and they give you the old BS story about, oh, I'll wait for you and this and that, and little by little they fade away.
There you go.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
And the thing is, like on this, you'll have to come back, Ken, as always, because there's always stuff to talk about.
Love to.
We need to get Julia back on, Grace.
Yeah.
And Grace I asked Grace recently because she's in New Mexico all the time. Do you see turquoise down
You
there?
know,
'Cause
we got to get back on Mona.
Yeah.
Mona.
I just
Mona
saw
was
her on
Mona
Saturday.
second. She needs, because she has got her finger on the pulse of what's happening, not only with the music, but with a lot of the other arts and media that's going on locally.
Oh, I'd be glad to.
Yeah, and I just thought of somebody else too that would be a good guest. I'll tell you off air.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I've been
You
approaching
mean
people
Taylor
too,
Swift? I mean, she'd like to, but I've been recognized so much as her. She doesn't want to be photographed with me because people can't tell us apart. I'm often,
But
I'm
if you
often
get-
asked, because it's our birthdays the same day, so I'm often asked for selfies. And I got annoyed for a while, but now I just take them.
Just do it.
If
Yeah.
you get Billie Eilish, I'll be very nice to her. I'll lay out the red carpet. I'll buy her flowers.
I like Billie Eilish, too.
Eilish.
I actually heard a couple things, and
Have
it
you
is pretty
seen-
good. I just don't like the way she became famous.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
like
no.
that whole bedroom thing.
Okay, did you see her on the David Letterman's latest YouTube thing that he's doing?
No.
You all know my next guest or my next guest is?
No.
He does these real intimate one-on-one interview conversations.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
She, because of COVID, she did the interview with David in her house and with her brother.
Right.
I am telling you.
No, you want one. You want one. Check out her on the Hot Wings Challenge.
I saw that too.
And she's burping. she's like a teenager.
What a great personality. She was not ostentatious. She was just a really good kid.
I guess I'm getting confused with her gothy image and the whole depression thing and the whole writing songs in your bedroom and then all of a sudden you're famous. I mean, I don't know. There's something else going on there, and that's why I don't like her.
Well, her brother also is.
Yeah, he was probably the guy that did all the...
really put. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Too.
But I don't know. I guess I jumped to conclusions.
And I'm not going to profess to know what's going on with the Utes.
The Utes, yeah, I know.
I mean,
it's a different world right now. I mean, you can do it that way, and that maybe I'm just jealous. Who knows?
A lot of it, like the world, the world goes like the scene from Back to School where Rodney hires Kurt Vonnegut, and the teacher says, "I'm disappointed that you had somebody write your paper." And even worse, the person didn't know Kurt Vonnegut. That's reality. And on that, we could probably do 3 or 4 other shows, but I will bid you adieu.
Adieu.
That's okay.
Adieu.
See you later. Bye.
Pretty lies.
You see